Hello, it's so nice that you're listening to my story. Thank you. We appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons and we will be forever grateful. Now, on to the story. The air grew thick. A shiver, unbidden, danced down Sarah's spine. It was silly, she knew, this feeling of being watched. The old house creaked around her, a symphony of settling wood and sighing wind. Shadows stretched, distorted by the flickering light of a single lamp. Each one seemed to writhe, to pulse with a life of its own. Sarah shook her head, trying to dislodge the unease that clung to her like cobwebs. It was just the house, she told herself. Just an old house, full of draughts and whispers of the past. But deep inside, a primal fear began to stir. Sleep came as a welcome reprieve, but it was a shallow, fitful thing. A pressure built in the room, a suffocating heaviness that pressed down on Sarah's chest. She tried to move, to cry out, but her body was leaden, unresponsive. Panic surged, hot and immediate. Her eyes flew open, but the darkness remained. It pressed against her, a cold, malevolent presence. She could feel its weight, smell its foulness, a stench of decay and despair. Terror, raw and consuming, flooded her. She was trapped, held captive in her own body by something ancient and evil. The episodes continued night after night. Each time the terror was the same, the crushing weight, the feeling of being watched by something unseen. Sleep, once a sanctuary, became a source of dread. Sarah tried to fight, to claw her way out of the paralysis that gripped her, but it was no use. She was helpless, a prisoner in her own flesh. The darkness whispered to her chilling pronouncements of fear and despair, feeding on her terror. Days were no better. The fear lingered, a constant companion. She became withdrawn, her once vibrant spirit now shrouded in a cloak of anxiety. Doubt took root, insidious and relentless. Was it real, this terror that haunted her nights, or was it all in her head? Was she losing her mind inch by terrifying inch? She visited doctors, underwent test after test, but they found nothing physically wrong. Their words, meant to reassure, rang hollow in her ears. They didn't understand. They couldn't see the darkness that clung to her, the unseen entity that tormented her in the shadows. Isolation became her prison. Friends, unable to comprehend the depths of her fear, drifted away. She was alone, adrift in a sea of terror with no shore in sight. Desperate for relief, Sarah turned to the internet, her search terms a litany of fear. Sleep paralysis, demonic entities, supernatural phenomena. She devoured every article, every forum post, clinging to any shred of information that might offer an explanation, a solution. It was in a forgotten corner of the internet, on a site dedicated to the occult, that she found it. A mention of her nightly tormentor. It was called a shadow entity, a malevolent being that fed on fear, its power amplified in the vulnerable state between wakefulness and sleep. The article spoke of rituals, of ancient incantations and protective talismans. It was a dangerous path, but Sarah, clinging to a sliver of hope, was ready to try anything. Section 6. A Glimmer of Hope. Sarah sought out practitioners of the occult, individuals who walked the line between the known and the unknown. Most dismissed her, their eyes holding pity or skepticism. But then she found him. An old woman, her eyes filled with an ancient wisdom, listened patiently as Sarah poured out her heart, her voice trembling with unshed tears. When she was finished, the woman nodded slowly. "Yes," she said, her voice raspy with age, "I know of this entity. It is strong, but it can be banished." Hope, long dormant, flickered back to life within Sarah. Section 7. The Ritual. The ritual was ancient, passed down through generations of healers and protectors. It was to be performed on the night of the new moon, a time when the veil between worlds was thin. Sarah gathered the necessary components, herbs, candles, a silver amulet inscribed with protective symbols. Doubt still gnawed at her, but it was overshadowed by a desperate hope. She followed the old woman's instructions meticulously, her voice a low murmur as she recited the ancient words. As the final syllable left her lips, the air crackled with energy. The candles sputtered, casting grotesque shadows that danced across the walls. Sarah felt a chill, colder than any she had ever known, settle over the room. Section 8. Release. The entity appeared then, rising from the shadows in the corner of the room. It was amorphous, a swirling mass of darkness that pulsed with malevolent energy. Terror, primal and instinctive, surged through Sarah, threatening to overwhelm her. But this time there was something else, a flicker of defiance. She clutched the amulet, its silver cold against her skin, and stared into the heart of the darkness. "Begone," she whispered, her voice surprisingly steady. "You have no power here." The entity lunged, but the amulet flared, bathing the room in a blinding white light. A shriek filled with rage and agony echoed through the chamber. Then silence. The shadows receded, the entity banished to the darkness from whence it came. Section 9. Scars of the Night. The episodes never returned. The terror that had haunted Sarah's nights faded, replaced by a tentative peace. She had faced her demons, both internal and external, and emerged victorious. But the experience left its mark. She carried the memory of those terrifying nights with her, a constant reminder of the fragility of the human psyche, the unseen forces that lurk at the edges of reality. Sarah kept the amulet close, a tangible reminder of her ordeal and her triumph. It was a symbol of her resilience, her refusal to be defined by fear. The scars of the night remained, but they were a testament to her strength, her unwavering spirit.